In this video, you're going to learn how NoFap can help with your social anxiety or any other form of anxiety for that matter. And I'm going to explain it to you on a physical, hormonal level. I'm going to explain it to you on a mental, psychological level, and I'm going to explain it to you on a spiritual level. Before going on about the explanations, how NoFap can help social anxiety and help boost social confidence, it's very important for me, for those of you who are new to the channel, new to the whole NoFap thing, maybe you've just clicked on this video, it showed up in the YouTube search engine, and you're wondering what is NoFap and what is social anxiety. Well, briefly, NoFap is you restraining from the act of teasing your weasel, greasing your pipe, aka self-pleasure. It is you restraining yourself from releasing white, sticky bodily fluids out of your penis and just saying, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to watch porn. I'm not going to engage in the act of teasing my weasel. That's what NoFap is. Social anxiety, well, depending. Social anxiety comes in varying degrees of severity. But somebody with really severe social anxiety is someone who, to them, going and buying something from the grocery store is a fucking mission. Okay, because they're so anxious. They're anxious in public places. They feel like they're constantly being watched and judged. And my compassion, my empathy goes out to you guys. I made several videos in the past about social anxiety, explaining to you what social anxiety is. So, how can these two combine in this godlike combination? NoFap, social anxiety. How can NoFap help social anxiety? Well, let's start off with the physical explanation, the hormonal explanation. What happens when you're addicted to porn and you're addicted to ejaculating, right? When you're addicted to teasing your weasel, is your body, because what happens when you come is you're flooded, your body and your brain is flooded with dopamine. So over time, over exposure of this ridiculous amount of dopamine release, comparable to that of cocaine, you know, what your body eventually does is it says, okay, I'm gonna produce less dopamine receptors here. Your body starts to produce less dopamine receptors. So let's say, hypothetical numbers here, you start off with 100 dopamine receptors. Now, after repeated exposure and repeated addiction to porn and coming and ejaculating, your body goes from having, say, 100 dopamine receptors to now 50, to now 40, to now 30. And of course, once you are like super into your porn addiction, your dopamine receptors are pretty low at this point. So you're now addicted, because the only way for you to feel normal and good again is to keep doing the thing over and over and over and over and over. Keep producing these massive amounts of dopamine when you come, and then that's when you're addicted to porn, and that's when you're jerking off 3 times a day, and it just becomes an addiction. And at this point, your dopamine receptors, your dopamine levels in your brain are pretty fucked up. To put it in simple, raw terms, they're pretty fucked up. So what happens is, when you go on about your daily, day-to-day activities, you're a compromised human being. Chemically speaking, hormonally speaking, you're a compromised human being. You're walking around, you're going to buy things from the grocery store, you're going to your classes, you're going to your work, a physically, biologically, hormonally, chemically compromised human being. And this compromise in your dopamine levels, the feel-good chemical, this makes you feel good. Dopamine is happiness, it's the happiness molecule. You feel anxious. So you feel anxious in day-to-day activities, in social situations and public places. Of course you're going to feel anxious. You need to reset the dopamine levels, and that's what NoFap does. NoFap is you saying, okay, fuck, I am really sick and tired of being a slave to this addiction. I'm going to stop jerking off. I'm going to just stop it altogether. I'm going to fight these temptations, fight these urges, go through the difficulty of those first few weeks. And let's see what happens. And what happens is once you start to do that, your brain now resets, reboots, and goes back to normal. Goes back. The natural state of a human being, we've all been misled to think that a human being is sickly and diseased. The natural state of the human being, I'm going to quote the Iceman, Wim Hof. It is our natural state to be happy, strong, and healthy. We're all naturally, our natural state, the natural state of the brain, the natural state of the body is happiness, strength, and health. Anything otherwise is unnatural and not normal. But we've all been led to believe that it is normal to be feeling sick, to be feeling tired, to be feeling fatigued, to be feeling anxious. But that's an abnormality. That's not what is the normal thing. So when you reboot, you rewire by restraining yourself from watching porn and from ejaculating. Body starts, the brain starts, the levels of dopamine start to go back to normal. So now you go back from, let's say, these are hypothetical numbers just for your own understanding. So now you go from 30 to 40, you go from 40 to 50, and back to 100, back to baseline, back to the natural dopamine levels. And once you're back in that natural dopamine level, you'll be a happier, more relaxed person because that's your natural state as a human being. That's our natural state. We're very powerful, magnificent beings that are incredibly healthy and incredibly powerful and incredibly happy. Our capacity, the human capacity for happiness and joy is unmatched. It's you don't see it in any other animal really. This happiness and joy. But of course with that comes our capacity for pain and misery, right? It's the yin and the yang. Anyway, different video. Don't want to go off on too many tangents here. Let's stay here with NoFap and social anxiety. So that's what happens chemically. That's what happens hormonally. And of course, when you're back and happier, you go out into the public. You're more likely to talk to people. You actually feel like you want to talk to other people. You feel like you want to be engaged in social situations and conversations. Because you're happy. You're happy. Your dopamine levels are back to normal. So that's what happens on a physical level when you do NoFap, physically, hormonally. Now, how does doing NoFap impact your social and help your social anxiety on a mental level? It's discipline. It's the discipline. You need an ego boost. Sorry, you need an ego boost. You need the psychological boost. As a human being, you're sort of a multi-layered being. You're physical, you have your body, you're an animal, but you're also a psychological, egotistical being, and you're also a spiritual being. And that's sort of the deeper self. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So, as a human, you need your ego boost, you need your psychological boost. That's your solar plexus chakra. That's your place in the world, your confidence. And when you basically go from being a porn addict, from jerking off, constantly being addicted to this thing, and saying, I'm going to restrain myself from doing this. I'm going to fight the urge to do this. And you successfully carry that on. Guess what? You get an ego boost. You're like, damn, I feel pretty good about myself. I wonder what else I can do. And then this, in return, gives you the confidence to do everything else you've been putting aside. Because I mean, look, if you can restrain yourself from jerking off, you can restrain yourself from eating bad food, you can restrain yourself to go to the gym, you can discipline yourself to take your cold showers, you can do all these things. If you could do one thing, you could do all these things. And that gives you confidence on a psychological level, on an ego level, which is necessary for a fully balanced human being. Okay? It's not enough, you kill your ego to feel the divine, but you come back here and you have to sort of live with it. So you need the psychological confidence in yourself and the discipline that you get from saying, whoa, I did this. I did it, man. I did it. I did it. I did it. I can do anything. And then you start to discipline yourself and you lead a disciplined life and you discipline yourself to do all these good habits like cold showers, eating healthy, etc. And that in return increases your vibration, increases the state of your consciousness. And of course, you're going to be more socially confident. That's just the way it's going to happen. That's the way it's going to be. Right? Most disciplined individuals are very confident socially. This is why athletes, if you watch athletes go in and do interviews, they're confident. It's rare to see an athlete that's not confident. They're confident. They're disciplined, right? That's the thing with athletes. They're disciplined human beings, and they're socially confident as a result, right? So the discipline you get from NoFap will no doubt, make no mistake about it, reflect and improve your social anxiety, and possibly and eventually help you kill it, eliminate it altogether. So that's on a mental level. Now, the spiritual level, my favorite, because as above, so below. The spiritual is always higher than the physical, and the psychological is a manifestation of the spiritual. It's manifestation of the unmanifest, of the things that you can't sort of perceive with your 5 limited senses. So what happens on a spiritual level when you do NoFap? And how does that help your social anxiety and increase your social confidence? Well, the sex chakra, the sexual energy, is associated with creativity. Meaning, if you look at this simulation that we're in, if you look at this game that we're in, if you look at creation, the universe, it's kept going by evolution, which needs species to constantly reproduce. That's what this whole thing is doing. Recycling and reproducing and evolving. So, the sexual energy, where the sex chakra is, right? The sexual energy is the energy for creativity, for expansion, right? And this is why the act of orgasm, of coming in a masculine format, in this case, right? It's very expansive. Here comes the boom, right? It's a boom. And then essentially this is what it is. It's a big bang. It's a form of a big bang on a micro level. See, that there's the great big bang, and then there's the small big bang. And the small big bang is when you come, when you experience this ecstatic pleasure, right? And that's how a baby's created. So creativity is expansive. In the universe, in order for something to be created, there needs to be an expansion, a really powerful expansion. So the sexual energy is where that expansion can occur. And by you cultivating that sexual energy, and not just constantly spreading it, like you do if you're addicted to porn, then you allow this sexual energy to build up. And everything is energy, right? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That energy is going to go somewhere. Okay? Make no mistake about it. It's got to go somewhere. And it will go somewhere. It can't not go somewhere. It's natural. It's in you. It's not going to disappear. It's going to go somewhere. And it often goes into your creativity. It often goes into finding your mission. It often goes into finding your passion. And that is going to help you tremendously with your social anxiety, okay? Because if you get in touch with the muse, if you get in touch with your mission, with your passion, with your calling in life, then you want to share it with the world. I mean, that's what I feel like. Now I want to describe my experience to you guys. I don't have social anxiety because I am in touch with my calling. And I want to share this with the world. Forget about anxiety altogether. I want to share it with you guys. I want to share it with everybody. I want to share it with the world. I'm in an expanded state. And that can be tremendously accelerated if you do NoFap. Because you allow the sexual energy to cultivate in you. And then it's going to expand. It's got to go somewhere, and it's expansive. Sexual energy is expansive. So you will expand, make no mistake about it. You will expand beyond everything. You will expand. And in this state of expansion, in this state of cosmic orgasm with the universe, in the state of aligning yourself with your calling, aligning yourself with what it is that your dharma is, what it is that your supposed to do in this life, in this incarnation, then all forms of anxiety disappear. But social interaction becomes a source of pleasure to you. Anything that involves sharing and caring and oneness and unity, union, right, will become a source of pleasure to you. And social bonding is a form of yoga. Yoga means union, right? So it will be something you look forward to. So that's sort of the explanation of how NoFap can help you on a spiritual level. And this is the highest level. So what I just said here, really what happens physically, hormonally and psychologically, it's just the manifestation of that higher spiritual truth, which is creation requires you to be in a state of expansion. Cultivating sexual energy means you're more expansive. And that's just going to not only destroy your social anxiety, it's going to make you look forward to social bonding. You see? So that's how NoFap can help you with your social anxiety, or sort of any form of social anxiety. I mean, I think most people have social anxiety, but to varying degrees, right? To varying degrees in different forms, varying degrees of severity. But it doesn't matter how big or small your social anxiety is, NoFap will help you. It's a powerful tool that you can use to help with your social anxiety, right? It is not the tool, it is not the way, but it is definitely a powerful tool that you can use to becoming this higher evolved being, because everything is evolving, and you're evolving and I'm evolving, and we're all on this path of evolution. So that's about it, guys. Share your experiences with me down below. Tell me if this has been the case for you, because I went online and I was doing some reading, and lots of people said, hey, social anxiety, or NoFap really helping with social anxiety. So share your experiences down below, please. Tell me which day you're on. Tell me if you've just relapsed recently, and tell me what you're going to do about it, and tell me about your social anxiety. Tell me if NoFap has helped it. Tell other people if what is helping you with your social anxiety. Okay, leave them in the comments. Let them read it. Let other people read your experiences. Let the comment section be, let you leaving a comment, sharing your experience, be a form of social bonding here. How is that? And it starts with the small things here, right? Let this be your form of social bonding with your fellow brothers and sisters. Leave me a comment with your social anxiety experience, with your NoFap experience, and not just for me to read, but for the rest of the world to read, for you to feel like you're part of a greater thing, okay? God bless you all, guys. I love every single one of you. Make sure to check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas. It will help you tremendously with your social anxiety or any form of anxiety. So you can just go to 5powerfulhabits.com, or you will see a link for the book. It's a report, really, a mini book, 19 pages, right? You can read it anytime. It's like you'll probably finish it in one sitting, honestly. So just look for the link for 5 Powerful Habits in the description. I'll try and leave it in the comments as well. And I love every single one of you guys. God bless you all. But don't forget to subscribe, or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.